What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Nomad Reviews Summerslam 2024 in Cleveland, Ohio. Why they do it there, I've got no idea. When I think of the party of the summer, I do not think of Cleveland, but maybe that's my bias showing. I loved this PLE. I thought it was perfect, I thought it was amazing, but of course we're going to get into all that. A couple of things that I noted from sort of the reactions from this PLE. I just feel like at this point, if you don't like WWE, you don't like WWE. The people that have been shitting on this on Cage Match, clearly anti-WWE bias. Dave Meltzer came out and said that the wrestling was trash, but the angles were great. I think that's bullshit. I thought the wrestling was great, and we're obviously going to get into that much more in detail in just a minute. Overall, I love this show. I thought it was great. I thought this is exactly what we needed from a Big 4 PLE, or Big 3, however many there are now. This is also supposedly the last one-night SummerSlam. Obviously, Minneapolis has already been announced for 2026, I believe. And obviously, that one has already been announced as a two-night event. But apparently, according to Triple H and the post-conference thing, he said he believes this is going to be the last one-night SummerSlam. So this is officially going to be WrestleMania Light. So if that's how this is going to end up being portrayed as, then you need to really make SummerSlam important, and I think they did a perfect job doing that throughout most of this card, and we're going to get to all of that in just a moment. Now, of course, we have a little bit of a special kind of design here, as you can see over there. I've kind of moved things around. I've flipped my camera, so I apologize for being off there. But as you can see over there, we have Kane's review over there, much more detailed than everyone else's. We also have Rob, and John is back with ratings today because why not? Let me just add a fourth fucking number for me to have to average out here. And make my job just a little bit harder. No, but I feel like this is going to give us a bit more of an accurate kind of view. As you can see behind me here, I have everything numbered from 10 down to 0. Obviously, John and Rob over there did A through F, or A through F. Me and Kane obviously stuck to the 0 through 10 scale. A 10 and a 9 is an A. 8 and 7 is a B. 6 through 4 is a C. So of course we utilize typically C minus, C plus, B plus, kind of differentiating there. A's are a little bit different, just because you don't really see John and them give A pluses too much. However, you can see one over there, as you can probably guess. But of course, 3 and 2 is a D, and a 1 or a 0 is an F, and it is very hard to get those lately. But we are going to jump right into the first match of the pay-per-view, or PLE, whatever you want to call it. And that is, as you can tell over there with Kane's rating over there that I already have set up, Liv Morgan as the champion coming in against Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's World Championship. Personally, absolutely loved this match. I thought the storytelling going in with Dominic Mysterio was excellent. I thought the build to this match was excellent. This was definitely a blood food that was coming to pay off here. It's very funny looking online at the reactions to these two women in general. Who's the victim? Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Of course, internally, Rhea Ripley is now listed as a face, Liv Morgan as a heel. Dominic Mysterio somehow had a heel turn as a heel tonight, or at this night. It was incredible. It's so fun to see people debate and have conversations about this, because that's what wrestling is about. Having the conversation, having the debate, so long as it doesn't become toxic and doxing and aggressive. It's still fun to witness it sometimes, and I really enjoyed how this story is so hot. So many people are talking about it. Everyone's got a favorite. I thought this match had an excellent payoff, personally. I absolutely loved the back and forth. I loved the match. Easily, Rhea Ripley's selling is, bar none, some of the best that I've ever seen of a woman in general. I absolutely loved the match. I loved how back and forth it was. I loved Dominic Mysterio's involvement at the end. I loved the making out with Liv at the end. Rhea Ripley looking heartbroken and distraught at the same time. It was excellent. I thought this is exactly what we needed. It was a great kickoff. I gave this match an 8 out of 10. As you can see, Kane over there also gave it an 8 out of 10, saying, Really good match that showcased both Liv and Rhea well. Liv played up her fear of the stronger Ripley, taking advantage where she can and targeting the injured arm. That was also excellent, by the way. The fucking jamming the arm into the table and jamming it, fucking amazing. I loved it. It was such a brutal scene. Exactly what you'd expect from Rhea Ripley. Great storytelling as well. Rhea putting her own shoulder back in by shoulder checking the announce table and going on a tear was awesome. Dom turning on Rhea was expected but done well, and I love that he somehow turned heel twice because he's such a bastard. Also, let Liv use the crucifix bomb as a finish. It looks so clean when she does it and fits her smaller stature perfectly. I agree, that was a perfect crucifix bomb. I actually like the Oblivion, though. I like that Rhea Ripley was one of the first people to actually kick out of the Oblivion. I thought that made this match have more importance. Again, if this is going to be WrestleMania Light, you need moments like that. I thought this was excellent. He gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. As you can see, Rob gave this match a C+. He gave it a 6. John gave it a B+, which is an 8. That's going to be 3 8s, 1 6. I don't think that's going to be enough to actually make this match a 7. I'm pretty sure the 3 8s are going to pretty clearly make it, so this is going to end up being an 8. And based on my calculator over here, 7.5 is going to average up to an 8. So that is where we're going to start. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley at an 8. Don't worry, this is going to get much more polarizing here very soon. Next up, we have the Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker coming in. This is the rematch of their previous match at Money in the Bank. I love the chemistry between these two, but most importantly, I love the storytelling told in this match. I would not be against a third match. However, I do feel like Sami Zayn is going to have obviously other plans for him, especially with the bloodline coming back into play a little bit here. So I believe you'll start to see Sami Zayn and Jey Uso start to whittle their way over onto SmackDown at some point to get into the War Games match in a few months. But I love this match. Would complain about a third one. Don't think it'll happen. I thought it was a great sequel story-wise. Braun Breaker took all the lessons that he had learned in their first match and used them to his advantage. He knew that if he let Sami Zayn stick in this match, he was going to lose. That is something that so many wrestlers have had to learn while dealing with Sami Zayn, that if you let him stick around and you give him an inch, he is going to take a mile. He is going to have a burst at the end. You cannot let him get there. Even on Raw and SmackDown matches, if you notice, the matches that Sami Zayn loses are either matches with interference or matches that end very quickly. If you give him time, it's kind of his character now. If you give him time to come back into the match, he's going to win. So, that means, from a story perspective, if that is truly the story they are trying to tell with Sami Zayn here, this match had to be quick, and it kind of was. This wasn't a very long match. I think it was 7 or 8 minutes long, and it told the story that it needed to tell. Sami Zayn got excellent offense in. Braun Breaker was very frustrated. Braun Breaker had to try. Braun Breaker had to literally snap that man in half, and he did it. No one runs the ropes like Braun Breaker does. I would argue he might run them better than Brock Lesnar, and I mean that. He is a fucking animal. If Sami Zayn is going to drop the title, Sami Zayn, as you guys know, is one of my favorites, if not my current favorite on the roster. If he's going to lose the title, it needs to be someone that has great promise, great potential, and is already at hitting his stride. That's Braun Breaker. I'm completely fine with Braun Breaker taking the title here. Again, wouldn't have mind a third one, but it is SummerSlam. This is but SummerSlam versus Bash in Berlin. No offense to Bash in Berlin, but if you're going to have a major shakeup, this is the pay-per-view to actually do it, so I'm completely fine with the result here. However, all that being said, I gave this match a 6. And the reason I gave this match a 6, as did Kane over there, as you can see, it was short. I'm not a huge fan of short matches. Again, everything I just said is still 100% valid. It's a great storytelling, it's a great thing, but as far as a match rating, I can't give a match, I cannot give a sub 10 minute match a B. And I know that's not fair, but if you guys have been following me along my entire WrestleMania review and most of these PLE reviews that I've done ever since WrestleMania 40, you'll see a trend here. I don't care much for short matches when it comes to these pay-per-view events. These pay-per-views are supposed to be the big payoff. They're not supposed to be squash matches. I hate them. Everyone wanted the first match to be a squash match. No, that would have been an F. That would have been garbage. This match still told a great story. It was still entertaining enough to make it work for the time it was given. So a 6 I think is valid. Kane over there said it is ridiculous how athletic Braun Breaker is. I found it interesting how the character arc seems to be how overly confident Braun is, and how it's costing him, but now he's also learning fast, but it isn't really working. The match was a short affair with Braun running through Sami, which makes me question the decision to have Zayn retain in the first match. I don't agree with that at all, Kane. I would 100% think, and again I said it before, Braun Breaker needed some sort of confrontation. He needed an obstacle to overcome. He needed to lose that first match. Again, if you go back to what I said at Money in the Bank, I'm fine with Braun Breaker winning the rematch that I knew was going to happen. Thought it was going to be a triple threat, but I was fine with Braun Breaker winning because he had that confrontation. He had that obstacle to overcome, and he did so. That's great storytelling. That's great match awareness. That's great character development. So I'm fine with Sami Zayn winning match 1 for Braun Breaker to steamroll him in match 2 because he learned that he has to take him out quickly. This hasn't really done anything for either man because of that decision. Again, don't agree with that, but I think I've already said my piece on it. It's the right one. Braun is the future. They should have just pulled the trigger last month or waited until this one. Again, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I don't disagree with the rating of being a 6 out of 10. Obviously, we gave it a 6 out of 10 for 2 very different reasons, but the result's still the same. However, if you will notice, John and Rob both gave this match a 5. So it ended up averaging out to a 5.5. And again, we have that 0.5 rule where we do end up bumping it up. So it is going to get bumped up to a 6 because of that 0.5 rule. I don't think any of us can really disagree. This match was a good match for what it was. It told a good story. Should have been longer. But again, we also got that with the first one. So I guess we'll just leave this one alone from there. Next up we have Logan Paul versus LA Knight, yeah, in the United States Championship match. I fucking love this match. This is probably going to be the most all over the place rating in general, besides maybe Drew and CM Punk and Gunther and Priest. I absolutely love this match. I thought this match was listen, before I say anything more, unequivocally fuck Logan Paul. I think we can all agree with that. Crypto scammer, obviously transphobic. Fuck Logan Paul, right? Not a great human being. We knew this going in. But even before his transphobic tweets, we knew he was a piece of shit. He's been a piece of shit for years. I'm strictly rating this match based on what I saw. I love LA Knight ever since really before WrestleMania, since Elimination Chamber, since Royal Rumble. I've loved LA Knight. Has gotten so much better in the ring. I love his character work. Logan Paul, he's a great wrestler. Fucking hate him as a human being. He's a great fucking wrestler, and that's what we're here for, entertainment purposes, right? I knew that LA Knight was going to end up winning this match because if you had Logan Paul go over with everything that he has said, holy shit, Triple H wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Listen, I thought this match was amazing. I thought that the chemistry was great between these two. I thought that moonsault off the rope was amazing. I thought that LA Knight was pulling out new tools. I love the fact that they beat the shit out of each other before the bell ever rang. A good third of the matches before the bell even rings. I thought LA Knight pulled out new tricks. I thought LA Knight worked really well with the two Stooges. I thought they used the Prime bottles efficiently as weapons. Again, everything worked for this match. I gave this match a 9 out of 10. I'm so glad that LA Knight is finally a champion. However, as you can tell, everything is kind of all over the place on the board here. Rob and John gave this match a B. Kane gave this match a 5, stating Logan Paul is a lot of things. Boxer, influencer, pro wrestler, entrepreneur. He's also a lot of other things such as his transphobe, crypto scammer, dead body recorder, that's a big one, and rat taser-er. I don't know about that one. I must have missed that somehow, but it wouldn't fucking surprise me. Anyway, if you couldn't tell how I feel already about the guy, fuck Logan Paul. He's a talented athlete and a natural wrestler, but he's a piece of shit, and I'm glad he lost so he could piss off and be rinsed in court for being a scumbag. Yes, that man is going to court for his crypto scam shit, which is probably why he had to lose this, because he's probably going to be gone for a while because of that, to be perfectly honest with you. The match was fine. The springboard moonsault to the outside from Paul was really impressive. Outside of that, nothing special, but that is usual for an LA Knight match. Kane is not a huge fan of LA Knight, the wrestler. He's a much bigger fan of LA Knight, the character. He's kind of a when the bell rings type of wrestler for him. I think he's overcome those allegations. For me, anyway, clearly not for Kane. This should have happened a year ago, realistically. A Knight no selling the knuckles was a bit weird. I agree with that, but he didn't really no-sell it. He still got hurt by it. He just knew that Logan Paul was about to do something else. He was smart with it, and it was a great out-of-nowhere counter. I don't mind that. I can see the complaint in it. You know, maybe he just didn't get the knuckles flush or something. I don't know. You can make a case about the finish there, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal personally. Not enough to be a detriment of the match. Maybe why I didn't give it a 10. But I thought this match was great. So, again, I gave this match a 9 out of 10. Kane gave this match a 5, and we have 2 B's. So they're not B pluses. So I'm gonna say they both gave the match a 7. So we're obviously gonna take this and see where we ended up at, and it looks like we're gonna end up at a 7. So basically, my 9 and Kane's 5 are gonna wash off in the middle. The 2 7s are gonna make this a clear even 7. So obviously, overall, not where we're putting this on the map is clearly not as good as what I thought it was. Clearly better than what Kane thought it was. Exactly what John and Rob thought it was. So clearly John and Rob have overcome me and Kane in this result here. But again, not a bad match, obviously, unless you ask Kane. Moving on. Next up, we have another match that me and Kane kind of see a bit more eye to eye on, and as does Rob and John here, but we do obviously view it very differently. But next up, we have Nia Jax versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Personally, I thought the crowd hurt this match. I thought this match could have easily been an A-rank match had the crowd not sucked. According to Rob, one of his friends was actually at SummerSlam, and it seemed like everyone used this match as a bathroom break, which honestly I think is really fucking shitty. I thought the match was way better than what people seem to have expected it to be. But again, it's Cleveland, so what do you know? They don't know quality if it bit them on the ass. Look at their sports teams. But I really thought this match was great. I thought this match was definitely a clash of styles. I love this shrink spot from Bayley where she hit that powerbomb on Nia Jax, and that's kind of when the crowd woke up a little bit too, because I don't think the crowd was expecting it. Listen, I've loved Nia Jax's work over the last 6 months. I've loved Bayley's reign. I thought she elevated Piper Niven. I thought she elevated Chelsea Green. I thought she elevated Io Sky in the WrestleMania match. I thought she's elevated Naomi. But it seems like she's always been the second player in all of her feuds. Her feuds have always been more about Piper Niven and Chelsea Green than Bayley. They've always been about Naomi than Bayley. They've always been more about Tiffany Stratton than Bayley. They've been more about Nia Jax than Bayley, which I guess you could say is Bayley elevating the other talent around her. But Becky Lynch did the same thing, and it was still about Becky Lynch. Of course, you have people that complain about that. Now they're complaining about Bayley. So what the fuck are you supposed to do here, I guess? You can't really win, it seems, when it comes to booking women's champions. So I guess it works, you know? I thought the match was great. I thought Nia moved great. I thought Bayley worked well with her. I loved a lot of the spots that they did. I love this is actually a long-running rivalry. I thought that Nia Jax just absolutely obliterating her at the end was great. I love the Tiffany Stratton spot where it looked like she was going to cash in, and that distracted Bayley long enough for Nia Jax to overcome her. I thought the match was great. Again, I gave this match a 7 out of 10, same as Kane. Kane said the match was sponsored by Valorant, so the bar was set pretty high. Oh, the bar wasn't exactly high. They did the best they could, but it was a heatless match with a poor build and nothing much going for it until the final stretch. Nice they referenced their NXT bout from all those years ago, and Nia seems to be expanding her moveset and was honestly really good in this match and deserves her flowers there. Outside of an incredible string spot from Bayley, it's a bit of a sore point as, again, she feels like she's been done dirty. He's not wrong. I really do feel like Bayley kind of got the shit end of the deal with this. On SmackDown, so much attention has been on Bianca and Jade, which doesn't make any sense at all. A lot of the attention has been on Cody Rhodes, the Bloodline, which makes all of the sense, to be perfectly fair. LA Knight has been featured heavily on SmackDown. SmackDown being 2 hours doesn't really help. I really do. I understand that it's a very controversial opinion. I truly feel like SmackDown needs to be 3 hours. When it goes to USA Network in January, it must add a third hour. There's just not enough. There's not enough time for people like Bayley and Nia and all these other talented people to actually get featured like they should be. There's just not enough time. That extra hour is needed at least an extra 30 minutes. Maybe a whole other hour is overkill. 2.5 hours might be the perfect medium. They got to do something because SmackDown is absolutely suffering because there's just not enough time for it. Obviously, John and Rob gave this match a C, which is a straight up 5, not a C+, not a C-, so they gave it strictly a 5 on this scale. So I guess that's where we're going to end up putting it, is kind of right in the middle of us at a 6. Again, I don't necessarily think that it's entirely fair on this regard, but that's where we're having it, so that's where it's going to go. Next up, we have what might honestly end up being some people's match of the night here. We have, well, either this one or the next match, honestly. We have Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk with Seth Rollins as the guest referee. I know that there is a lot of polarizing opinions on Seth Rollins' involvement in this match. Some people believe this should have been CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins inserted himself unnecessarily. I do not agree. Has the majority of this feud been focused on Punk and Drew? 100%. Absolutely. This feud did not start with Punk and Drew. It started with Punk and Seth Rollins. That started during the War Games match when he came back, and it has continued to increase in magnitude. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk did not start to blossom individually without Seth Rollins until after WrestleMania, really. When CM Punk cost Drew and Seth Rollins took that a long time off, that's really the only time it became Drew versus Punk. Exclusively Drew versus Punk. Until then, it was Drew. It was Drew versus Seth, Seth versus Punk, and then the three of them combined in the middle. So of course, Seth Rollins is going to be involved in this match. I don't mind that. I know a lot of people have their own opinions on it, but that's mine. And I thought Seth Rollins played this match perfectly. I loved the little bit of comedy to slice up the blood feud, if you will. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining to watch, which is the whole reason we watch, is to be entertained. I thought that this match was clearly a bit one-sided in favor of Drew McIntyre. This was Drew McIntyre getting his lick back, which again, completely justifiable. I also thought that this was CM Punk showing that he can take a shit ton of bumps, and some heavy fucking bumps at that, and not get hurt. He did not get injured in this match, and that's the most important thing, because he took some hellacious bumps. The swinging into the table, the fucking apron spot, multiple claymores, hit a couple GTSs to show he could still do that. I thought the story of the bracelet was excellently told by Punk. The fact that his family is more important than the match was a great spot, but it also showed that maybe Drew McIntyre hasn't been CM Punk's entire attention span. He's just been sticking to his promise. As long as I can breathe air, Drew McIntyre will not be a world champion. That's really been his only goal. Outside of that, it's all about his family. And then when Drew McIntyre took that bracelet, it made it personal. Yeah, again, I love this match. I gave this match an 8 out of 10. So a B+ for me. Kane gave his match a 9 out of 10, stating Seth came out dressed as one of those ink blot tests, and then man of the people, Drew McIntyre, came out leaving certified menace Punk to come out last with this absolute banger of a theme. This match has been building for months, and honestly, this is incredible. Immediately just throwing hands and beating the hell out of each other while Seth just chilled out. The slingshot into the steel frame of the ring and the swinging into the announce table was brutal, and Seth encouraging them to kill each other was very funny. Like, he was encouraging that. He turned away when they were doing everything to each other. Like, he was okay with Seth, but with CM Punk just bashing Drew McIntyre's head into the steps. This lived up to the hype in my opinion. I love this match. Punk hitting Seth because of the wristband and his ego, and that costing him, kind of proving Drew right, was awesome. 9 out of 10. As you can see, this is where we have a large variety of numbers here, because Rob gave this match a 7 out of 10. I gave this match an 8 out of 10, and then both John and Kane gave this match a 9 out of 10. So this match is actually going to end up averaging out to an 8.25. That's going to be below the 0.5 threshold. So an 8 is where we are going to put this match. Again, there's no problem with that. I believe we can all agree that an 8 out of 10, a 4-star match, is 100% where this match probably is going to end up going when old geriatric Dave Meltzer posts his fucking star ratings. This match is probably going to it's probably all going to be 3 stars and below because he's already said he wasn't impressed by the wrestling in this match, as I said before. But I think this match is clearly a 4-star match, so we'll see if old Uncle Dave agrees with me or not, or agrees with us, rather. But an 8 out of 10 is where it's going to go. Next up we have, in my opinion, and as I said before, it's going to be one or the other. In my opinion, this is the match of the fucking night. I loved this match from start to finish. This is exactly what Damian Priest needed. This is Damian Priest versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. As I said, it's exactly what Priest needed. He needed to show that he was a true champion. I almost wish he won. I am completely okay with Gunther winning this match. Completely okay with where this is going to lead because of fucking Finn Balor. His betrayal of Damian Priest was heartbreaking. It made sense. It was beautifully told. It was beautifully foretold. You've been leading up to this for so long. I mean, think about it. A year ago, Damian Priest cost Finn Balor against Seth Rollins. Accidentally, but he still cost him. That's when the seeds of deceit were initially planted, and I thought everything was told perfectly from there. Again, I am a little bit upset that Damian Priest is no longer champion because, again, I've been enjoying his reign. I thought it's gotten progressively better outside of a couple of things that weren't his fault. But, again, he proved this, man. I mean, the scene, which I believe is going to be the thumbnail of this video, when he gets out of that first choke and reaches over and just, I mean, fucking Undertaker strangleholds Finn Balor. Chef's kiss. Fucking eccentric cinema. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Him reaching out to to Finn Balor as he starts to fade and Gunther winning at the end. Finn Balor's fucking terrifying demon look expression. It was great. It was golden. I thought this match was fire. Again, they beat the shit out of each other. Gunther literally cut his chest on Damian Priest's chops. He chopped his chest bloody. That's insanity to me. Just absolutely insanity to me. As Kane put over here, a very stiff match. Very stiff. Bloody chest, big meaty men slapping meat, freaky Finn Balor. I'm a simple man. Damian Priest looked absolutely incredible there. Awesome match. While Damian's reign wasn't as good as it should have been, I think he's been made in this defeat, and this will hopefully be the fire to solidify him as the top guy. 9 out of 10. I agreed. I gave his match an absolute 9 out of 10. Rob gave his match an 8. John agrees with the 3 of us, or the 2 of us rather, and gave his match a 9 out of 10 as well. So 3 out of 4 9s is where it's going to end up going, and 8's going to make it like a 9.75. So I don't think there's any or 8.75. Don't think there's any argument here about putting this match as a 9. Very clearly the match of the night because the next match, unfortunately, is a little bit disappointing, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. Finally, we have Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. Unfortunately, the top of Kane's there got a little chopped off, but that's okay. We have Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa for the Universal Champion. I'm pretty sure we all knew what was going to happen in this match when it was Bloodline rules. And normally predictability isn't bad, but it didn't really do much here. This was Solo Sikoa's opportunity to shine, and he didn't. He's very slow. He's a very slow, methodical wrestler, and unfortunately that clashes with Cody Rhodes' style in not a good way. Cody tries to make this match great. He can't. It's a very average match for me. I was disappointed, man. I really was. I was really hoping this was Solo's coming out party. But maybe Roman Reigns can get something out of him more. Because Roman Reigns returns. And it was fucking elite. The nod, the Superman punch to Solo, the spear, Jacob Fatu supposedly not actually getting injured. I thought that shit was legit. But I do agree that no one came rushed over to help him, so I guess that was kind of a clear sign he was selling. But it makes sense. If the Usos were never planned to get involved, which has been reported they were never planned to get involved in this match, you don't want Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns coming to head just yet. I honestly think that's Bash in Berlin, Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. I think that'd be a great fucking match for Bash in Berlin, and then save Roman versus Solo Sikoa for Bad Blood. But I thought that it was excellent for telling because, you know, he's selling the leg injury, so he can't get involved when Roman Reigns comes back. I think it works. It made sense. The Superman punch, the spear. Finally, we can cheer for Roman Reigns again and not hate the fact that we are supposed to cheer for Roman Reigns. I trust Triple H so much more to have babyface Roman than I do Vince, so I'm very much excited for that to be back. But unfortunately, we care far more about that than we do the result of this match, and so I gave this match a 5 out of 10. I didn't like it. It wasn't that good. Kane disagrees a little bit. Cody proves he is a lazy champion by just staying on the bus up until the moment of his match. Obviously a joke, but I did love that spot. Unfortunately, it's going to be the last time you see Pharaoh, his dog. His dog is 13, so apparently he's been retired from WWE TV. Arn Anderson returned. Love to see it. That was pretty cool. Obviously, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton got involved in this match to chase off Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. By the way, Tonga Loa, Jesus fucking Christ, man. You couldn't even push him into a turnbuckle right. Just horrible. The mask Cody wore for this entrance was terrible. I did not like it. It did not look good. I agree with him. That's your standard affair. Lots of interference. Jacob Fatu is still absolutely amazing, and I hope he's okay because that landing on his shin looked nasty. Roman is back, and fuck me, you felt the entire arena shift. The Tribal Chief is home, and we're better for it. War Games build where he reunites the OG bloodline, maybe even Sami for War Games. 7 out of 10, mostly for Roman. I will accept it. As you can see, both Rob and John also agreed the return is much better than the actual match. John actually enjoyed this match. He did give it a B-. He did give it a 7. I gave it a 5. He gave it a 7 as well. Kane did. So I believe this match is probably going to end up averaging out to the 6 range. Obviously, I'll double check here with my calculator. But obviously, with me giving it a 5, Rob giving it a 5, it is going to average out to that 6 range there. So that is where it's going to end up going. Again, nothing was absolutely terrible on this card. I know it's a very polarizing card, but nothing was truly bad on this card. There were no Ds, there were no C minuses. Like, you know, a lot of 3-star matches and up. And I don't think you can ask for much less. So that is where we are going to leave this here, guys. Obviously, let me go ahead and use my handy-dandy calculator here and figure out exactly what this PLE is going to end up coming to. Pretty sure it's going to be somewhere on that 7 range, but we will find out for certain in just a moment. So this PLE ends up coming up to a 7.14. So that makes sense based on where everything landed here, 7.14. The 9, the absolute banger of Damian Priest versus Gunther, obviously excelled on this match. So, yeah, I would love to hear what you guys feel about SummerSlam down below. Raw is currently on as I speak right now, so I'm going to run and watch that while I'm editing this. This is probably going to go up on Tuesday, just so I can actually enjoy Raw. But you guys, let me know down below what you thought of SmackDown and what you think of the upcoming Bash in Berlin and what predictions you have for that. Where do you think we go from here for Rhea and Dom and Liv and Nia Jax and Bayley and the Bloodline? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below. Until next time, guys, y'all have a fantastic night, and I will see you later. Also, I swear to God, eventually I will stop doing... I'll not stop doing, but I will do more than just wrestling content on this channel. I just don't have... I just recently moved. I haven't had time to play games with friends. That's typically what ends up getting uploaded here. So I swear, eventually I'll have more gaming content on here. But for now, enjoy the wrestling, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.